Good evening, everyone. Welcome to TimCon LAN. It's WarCup time. Joining me tonight is not Al. It's the it's the runner that Al wishes he was. It's Donald. How you doing,
Hello.
mate?
I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm doing very well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some nice runs on this map. This map is inder-a1ex, and we've got a lot of submissions this week. We've got 17 in VQ3, and I think we got over 20 in
Yeah,
CPM as well. We
22,
had
I think. Yeah.
22, yeah. So a lot to get through, and probably, well, we're gonna see a lot of strafing. A lot of strafing is gonna happen
Oh,
today.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
um, yeah, let's just dig in because we've got a lot to get through, and we'll catch up as we go along.
All right.
So in 17th place, we've got Rocky Raccoon with a 40.0
Take it
and a
away.
frame. I need to know about this thumbnail. I need to know the story behind this thumbnail.
I wish I knew. It's an
Yeah.
ancient map, so it could be anything. A little bit of configuration there.
Hmm.
So obviously, these first couple of runs aren't going to be anything special, but I think now is the right time for any viewers on the stream to get a lay of the land on the
Mm-hmm.
map. While it may look simple, in VQ3, especially if you consider snap zones, there's a lot of complex potential for optimization getting around these corners, and like deciding which way you can go around the corner to keep the most speed over the most distance. Keeping a lot of speed now, but then having to slow down later may not be the best approach when there's, a more, modest route that keeps less speed at the start, but then goes faster later.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this develops. And we've already got a big jump with Kerr from China with 36.
A
Should we get
regular
should we
on the
get
World Cup.
Seagaz up and the snaps and whatnot?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see not a lot of snapping going on right now, just
No.
following Seagaz. This is what DeFRaG looked like about, 16 years ago.
And it was still fun because I had a good time on this map. Spacing, yeah, the spacing, especially at the beginning, I thought was super important on this one. Maybe not so
Yeah.
much on VQ3 because I only played CPM, but I'm sure on VQ3 as well.
I mean, the beginning has the ramps, of course, and then later on, it depends on where you can get skims, so the spacing is really important there. Alright, next up, Pozdrawiam from Poland. Saving
Welcome.
another second. Thank you. Seems like there's a lot of sounds on this map.
Hmm.
It's a long time to register them.
It's probably done on purpose so you get to stare at that thumbnail for just a little bit longer.
Some wall strafe at the start.
Okay, a little bit of snap zone adherence.
Definitely keeping more speed though throughout those corners.
Ooh,
The
that was
strafe
tight.
here is worse, but his better speed in the beginning makes up for that.
Yeah, this last section seems a little bit tricky because if you maintain your momentum coming off there, you're not going to hit the ramps. So
Yeah, and it also matters when you hit the ramp, so an earlier spacing might be better. Next up, Radio Koala from Belarus. Let's see if he
submitting
does
in
the
both.
ending differently.
Yeah,
Sorry?
submits in both as well. He's got a CPM run as well.
I always respect people who do that, especially Raven. You can see some attempts at, snapping.
Yeah, and a little readjustment of the cursor to line things up.
So he goes wide here so
Mm.
that he can keep more speed throughout that straightaway.
Ooh. Spacing that.
Just
Yeah.
barely lands on that middle ramp, yeah. Really had to clutch it out there.
That was a solid one. A solid run.
Yeah.
Cracks, so why don't I have this thumbnail? No, mate. Try downloading the map again.
Alright, next up, syntax.
Yeah, 35. So, I mean, they're getting faster, but not by a lot.
No, it's gonna be a slow boil.
Hmm. With frog at the end.
Okay, actually, some really good strafe here at the start. That's much better than I was expecting to see. You can see actual snapping.
Yeah.
Do you remember how much of a jump this was? Time-wise?
Only I think it was like it was 0.4 maybe.
Interesting.
Oh,
This
let me
looks
double
like a
check.
much... Oh, I see. Okay. He doesn't have great spacing for the end here,
Yeah.
so the ending is a bit botched.
Yeah, it's 0.3.
0.3. Yeah, like if he hadn't botched the ending, I'm sure it would have been, 1.5, 2 seconds or something like that. But as is, it's a taste of what's to come.
We've got
Next
Skip
up,
though, with a very
yeah,
aesthetic
Skip.
35.0.
Very clean.
I need to reverse image search this guy.
I mean, it has a domain in the picture.
Yeah,
Still
I want to
project.
know that he's alive and well. Doesn't
Mm.
look particularly well.
No. Alright, so you can see not quite the same, quality in terms of strafe, but
Yeah,
I'm expecting a much better ending to make up for that.
some nice half beat.
Okay, he does drop down, but he gets a much
Gets 2
cleaner...
ramps.
Yeah, much
Unfortunately,
cleaner.
loses a lot of speed there.
There wasn't really any way to avoid it, given his
Mm.
trajectory, but Syntax before him, I think it was Syntax, actually got caught on the ramp, so he slid around instead of jumping, and lost some speed to friction that way. So that was avoided here. Alright, next up, the one and only Raven. Actually
Oh, you're
placing
right,
relatively
Craxel.
highly.
Craxel says it's Shane McGowan of the Pogues, and you're right. It could. I mean, it might be. It is. It is. Surely. Yeah. The ears give it away.
Okay, some
Interesting.
meditation by Raven. Gathering energy. Perching.
Perching.
There we
Says
go.
Adam.
Okay, you can see no real snapping, but doesn't have to do that. If he gets a good ending, that saves him enough time, clearly.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how these endings develop, because it seems that
Okay, this is
make or
pretty
breaking the
good.
runs.
This is pretty good so far, actually. Obviously, snapping's not there, but the way he's been keeping speed around corners is actually pretty good.
Yeah, good momentum, good spacing.
Yeah, and you can see a much straighter line to the finish. Doesn't even hit the right wall.
Yeah, nice
Definitely
line.
saves some time. Well done.
Yeah, clean ending there. Really helping that run. Okay, Wound. We've got next. Wounder, 34.7. So just a 10th faster than Raven's run.
Okay, some good snapping. Yeah, and he goes the tight route here, which overall I think is less speed compared to Raven. But I'm expecting better strafing here, get more speed. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's a 10th in it, really, so a little bit faster at the ending, 100 or so UPS more.
Yeah, I think that's what made the difference. He had a different strat at the end where instead of dropping right before stopping the jump right before he drops, he stopped right a jump before that, which gave him a different line towards the end. I think that was the main difference. That's a confusing way of saying he jumped differently than Raven. But no real meaningful changes there.
Okay, so we're into top 9 now. We've got Gad with a 34.6, another 10th shaved off. This loading screen's going to get old.
No, I guess that's one thing that Diabolical Time Trials has on DeFRaG. You just get a video file.
Well, true. But it's a little bit harder to submit as well.
That's also true. So far, pretty good snapping. Not optimal by any means, but you can see, the technical knowledge is there.
Yeah. Yeah, just like having to correct his lines a little bit and slowing down a little bit because of that.
Yeah.
Good speed at the end.
These last couple of runs have been following the same formula. Where
Yeah,
it's,
they look very similar, haven't they?
yeah. Not to take away from them, of course, but you can tell there's a pattern. Let's see if
Yeah,
it
but
continues with DF comps.
I'd say, yeah, Raven, Wounder, and Gad all had very, very similar runs with very similar times. But
Yeah.
Koz in 8th place is shaving 0.6 seconds. So we should see something a little different here, I hope.
If Cause is watching, change your name, because you have the default provided name from the dfcomps.ru bundle. Stop. It is df_demo name, I think. I'm not actually sure. But something like that.
Okay, wide line here. Might see more of that going forward.
Yeah, I think this is what Raven was doing. He's keeping it... he's holding back his strafe there for some reason. I guess he wasn't confident in his spacing at the time. But this does give him a pretty clean line right there.
Ooh. Yeah, and the big drop hitting the first ramp, giving him that extra speed as well.
Yeah, you could see
1500.
he wasn't even sure what to do at the end. He just got a really good drop and didn't want to ruin it.
Yeah,
I
we all
respect
know that feeling. Holding on for dear life at the end.
All right, next up,
Okay.
I think, again.
Yep. Another nice saving, 0.4 or 0.3. Getting
Yeah,
both
so
ramps.
we're moving into that territory where snapping is sort of, pretty well understood. You can see every player doing it. And it's now going to be about the route, not so much about the execution of, basic strafing. So you can see he goes tight for that first turn, and doesn't really hold back his strafing here at all. Okay, and does two, like, walking jumps.
Pivots.
Yeah, pivots to change his momentum. Loses some speed that way, but he was able to keep a lot of speed before that, and that's the trade-off you're making, whether you're fast before the drop or after the drop.
Yeah, it felt like a stronger run, first 3/4 of it.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
ID with another 0.6 saved, I think.
Oh, yeah, big save.
Okay, some half-beat wall strafe. Pretty good speed here. I think some of the best we've seen. And goes wide.
Pivots for the right angle.
But doesn't actually pivot out of that second turn. He
Yeah.
actually does a hero hit. I think that is the best strategy.
Oh, nicely handled that corner.
Surprised to see no wall strafe at the end. Come on. But still pretty good. Pretty good. Not bad.
Push the tempo. It's taking us into 5th place with a 32.8. That's a 2/10 saving. Oh, I didn't even realize, but Frog is at the top. My joke worked.
Okay, I think the snapping not quite as strong, but I'm expecting to see better execution on the right. Sorry, on the route. You can see first one is a hero hit, as is the second one. I would assume we will see pretty good execution on this drop down. Yeah, that's really good.
That's really nice. Yeah.
Not a lot of
So
speed lost, gets both bounces. Yeah.
So what's the deal with like in your opinion, when they're bonking past that second corner, they're hitting the wall and then they're changing trajectory? What's the benefit of actually like bonking and
I would say play the run
rather
again,
than
and we can slow down that part.
pivoting?
So with pivoting, you're losing speed constantly. Every frame that you're on the ground, you're losing speed. And typically a pivot around a 90-degree corner like that is going to lose you at least 300 UPS.
Hmm.
Whereas while even while you're setting up for the hero hit, like for this bonk, you're still gaining speed all that time. It's only during the bonk that you lose speed. And typically, losing speed that way is just a net less loss, a less
Hmm.
overall loss, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
also in this case, you can see he's to the right of where he has to go, so that his strafe is actually better set up. He didn't obviously maximize his snaps,
Yeah.
but if you were to maximize your snaps, that would be a better position to be in.
So it loses less speed, has a bit more control over the trajectory.
Yeah, and then it just excellent here with this skim
Yeah.
barely gets through, clean line, straightforward, gets both bounces on the way down. That just really good.
Nice. Okay, and fourth we've got Anselmo
0.3, not bad.
placing pretty well in both disciplines as well, both physics.
Excuse me. All right, now we're really seeing some clean strafes. Okay, two
Nice.
pivots. Goes tight, another pivot there. And no, does pivots. He doesn't go for the hero hit. It's like a medium route. Instead of going for one big pivot that keeps him tight around the corner, he does two medium ones. And then
Just
does
really well
essentially,
controlled. Just
yeah,
really
the
well
same
controlled.
strat as push the tempo, but more speed, so he doesn't even get to go for that second bounce because he's already past the ramp by that time.
Yeah, those were some really nice pivots though. Like, didn't really lose much speed.
Yeah, well done. All right, third place, Temfex. Huge jump, by the way, like
Yeah,
almost a full second.
second.
In VQ3 especially, that is a big deal. Obviously, Temfex, a very, very experienced strafer, so I expect to see no less than excellent strafes here. And snaps. It's going to be about the route. He goes tight
Tight line.
first turn. And also goes tight second turn. Has to restrict his strafe just a little bit there so that he doesn't overjump. You can see he's very close to that forward edge. And essentially the same route as push the tempo. Once again, more speed.
Yeah, great
No
speed at the end.
real route change. But I love to see that run because that was just so clean. Could you show the run again and then just slow down in that pivot part? I apologize for the loading screen, but just a really smooth run.
Don't have the technology yet.
Yeah, so excellent speed. Actually gets up to 1400 even before
Yeah.
that first pivot. Maximizing those snaps. I can talk all day about how you maximize snaps. You close the window, all that stuff. But what I'm looking at here is this first pivot, which is super tight around that
Yeah.
corner. And then he's going to go tight here again, and you'll see that he has to, even for just a few frames, hold back his strafe. So right now it's optimal, closing all the windows. And as he approaches the end of this brick section, you can see there, has to stop strafing because he's going too fast, he's too far forward, and you can see here, by the end of this platform, he's almost jumping off of it. Just barely stays on it. very important that you're always mindful of where your spacing is and where you're strafing. And for someone like Tempfix, obviously, he's so experienced with the fundamentals of strafe that he doesn't have to concentrate on that. He can instead concentrate on the bigger picture of the run. Now, snapping here, not ideal, but he has to do that to redirect his momentum to the right because he was entering this corridor going to the left and he needed to correct for that. No second ramp bounce. He's way past the ramp at that point. And then
Very nice.
light speed to the finish. Very well done.
Very clean. And a big, another big jump, really. Half a second, really. That's pretty crazy from Delta in second place. Delta coming first in last week's VQ3 and CPM.
Helver map.
Yeah.
That was a great stream. Alright, clean strafe. Less overall speed, but I'm expecting better pivots then. Yeah, he goes for the bonk.
Yeah, he goes wide, yeah.
I expect him to have a better ending as a result. Because by bonking, you can also strafe harder here. You don't have to restrict yourself.
Yeah, so he's got over 1200, whereas most others had around 1100.
I also think he just didn't even pivot before the ending. He just strafed all the way through, and because his line was less straight, he was going left and then right. That's longer overall distance, and that gives him the ability to get 2 ramp bounces at the ending. As opposed to Tempfix, who was just even totally past the ramp by the time he got that second jump.
Yeah, that barely dips below 1000.
Yeah.
In this section.
First pivot here. That's 400. And then the tiniest pivot after that's another 100. There's no really any getting around that speed loss. It's this one that you want to try to avoid by going for the bonk. And because you're offset to the right, you can just now strafe as hard as you want because there's no real overshooting this at this point, since the spacing is offset completely. And then if I remember correctly, he doesn't pivot here. He just strafes left and then strafes up hard right.
Nice. Really good angle of approach.
Yeah. And then no speed loss here, and because he's further to the left, he gets that second ramp bounce like I mentioned.
Really good. But
obviously, well done, Delta. But as impressive as that is, have you seen this jump?
Yeah. So 1.1 second jump. That's pretty crazy from second to first. That's serious shit.
All right, Frog, take it away. After the loading screen, of course.
It's just for the purposes of anticipation.
Build up the hype. Okay, a different start. Has a small jump at the start. That gives him different spacing on these ramps. I guess he figured it would be better speed gain. Goes like somewhat wide first turn. And then a very tight bonk after, yeah.
Oh, nice line.
Snap mayhem. He just doesn't stop.
The speed.
Beautiful. Wow. Yeah, just same route, just really crazy snapping. And like a better approach to the bonk. I guess that is a route difference, if you will. Like the exit out of that pivot corridor was at a different angle, which just saved more speed for the bonk.
Yeah, it's one of those runs where it's just so well executed. It boggles the mind.
Yeah, it's hard to really explain it.
And it's just as a result of cumulative optimizations. There's no like one thing you can say, oh, he's done this, and that's why he's gained a second. It's everywhere.
Like, the closest thing to that is that bonk angle, but this entire run is filled with optimizations, like from the snaps to like the slight angle changes. And those, yeah, as you said, they add up.
That was nice.
The demo, unfortunately, is online, so it's a little bit laggy, but gets the
He
points
is-
across.
Anselmo noticed, as did I, that he's kind of plus backing in a couple of points on the first part of the run. Must have been just for
spacing,
correct the
probably.
spacing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, only loses 80 UPS on the bonk.
Yeah, that's pretty
Gets
sweet.
to keep the rest of that speed.
I liked his line here, with the half beat. It was
Yeah,
great.
it's so clean.
Just carried over.
And then I guess the same ending as Delta, just
Exactly.
even more speed. Barely gets that second ramp. Yeah, well done.
Awesome. All right, well done to all the VQ3 submissions. Good job, guys.
We do have a VQ3 demo of the week to look at as well.
Let's check that out.
So since DFWC 2021 is confirmed and is hopefully, fingers crossed, coming soon, I thought I would try to set the mood a little bit with this legendary run from DFWC 2017.
Was this a competition? Was this a DFWC submission, or has this been done since?
No, this was part of the DFWC, and it blew everyone's mind at the time.
Yeah, I remember watching this.
Yeah, I wasn't even in the game at this point. I was just like an outsider watching, and I remember this very fondly.
Yeah, I remember Zoot was streaming these. What can you say? You got, by the time you spot something to say, it's
10 more things have already happened, yeah.
10 more awesome things have happened, yeah.
Not much to say, just a lovely run.
That was the first time I've seen this run without banging drum and bass in the background. It's true. Yeah, some really nice mechanics on this map as well for you know, shooting targets and
It has everything.
giving you momentum and
It has rocket stacks at the start. It has, you know, aim, like tricks here. It has plasma right after, and then it has a beautiful rocket stack, which I don't even know if it was intended, but
this
Dex.
yeah. This section is insane.
Beautiful.
God damn.
A little bit of a change of pace, you know.
That was awesome. CabCorp has such nice maps. Yeah, CabCorp does have good maps. All right, let's move on to CPM. I've got Radio Koala sitting in 22nd place. 27.74.
Relatively, yeah, small time disparity.
Yep.
To be fair, the map isn't terribly complicated.
Yeah, I mean, it's to be expected in this kind of strafe map that ends up just being about optimization.
Obviously, in CPM, it's less about figuring out like a creative route and more about just execution, because obviously this part in CPM is trivial. You can just turn and keep your speed.
Yeah.
The extent of routing on this map is how many ramp bounces you get at the end and stuff like that.
Pretty good speed at the end, though.
Mm-hmm.
1800.
All right, next up, Heyazi from Egypt.
Rerun meditation.
Gathering energy. Sort of almost panicking at when he started
Yeah.
to run.
Some decent speed, but not really able to accelerate much throughout this whole
Yeah,
section. Just
you can
kind of,
tell not quite confident with the mechanics just yet. You can tell he's getting there,
yeah.
but
But
there's
yeah,
a
there was a
ways to
good,
go.
that good middle section of the map. He was just basically stuck at 1350, 1380 UPS.
Yeah, that's right around the time where, snapping really becomes the main factor in how much speed you get. But he'll
Yeah.
get there, I'm sure. All right, crazy, saving 3/10.
He woke up, says Quick. Yeah. Good evening, my nemesis.
So now you can see, some semblance of snapping starting to
Yeah.
take form here. Because the map is so execution heavy, this really is like a sort of an evolution of how someone picks up strafing if you watch the demos back to back.
Yeah, and like I was saying to you before the stream, when I was running this, I felt like I kind of leveled up my strafe through this map and just trying to get better and execute better and better on it. So
Definitely.
it's actually a really good map for practicing your strafe and working on your snaps.
All right, Pozdrawiam, Poland, saving 1/10. I do see you're pretty high up on the list, Chris.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 10th this week.
I'm looking
Very
forward to
happy.
that demo.
Very happy with my result.
Okay, some style points. Instantly loses them because of that wall strafe. But I think this is going to be more of the same, getting up to the middle of the map and then trying to snap.
Yeah. But actually gaining a little bit of speed with those AD turns through the middle section, even though it was a little bit.
True.
We saw some speed gain.
But nothing outstanding just yet.
But now we have Raven, who we know is outstanding.
Not an outstanding time, but an outstanding player.
26.6 was it? Yes. Sorry, 26.7. So 2/10 saving exactly on Pozdrawiam's time. No paying attention to the snaps really. But some good execution, building speed through the section with the AD turning.
Pretty good here, though. He keeps
Yeah.
strafing. I think that's what sets him apart.
Yeah. And that second ramp I found when I didn't overshoot it to be preferable.
All right, Rocky Raccoon from Russia, saving another 2/10. That's going to be the pattern we're going to be in.
Yeah, for sure. I'm interested to see how the starts are going to evolve, and how people will try and hit both of the ramps and whatnot.
Well, there's probably going to be some dirty pre-runs, even, despite the pre-running rule, but we'll see. Right now, we have Rocky Raccoon, who is playing honorably. And even though he has less overall speed at the end, I think it was that turning in the middle of the map that saved him some time
Yeah.
there. So, well done.
Big up to my nemesis, Quick in 16th place, 26.3, another 2/10 saving. Quake admitting to me this week that he didn't spend a huge amount of time running this. But I'm just assuming that he said that to save face from being beaten by me.
No excuses.
Pretty good, gaining
Alright.
speed this whole time.
Yeah, not perfect on the snaps, but... Oh, actually, pretty good ending.
Yeah, decent ending.
But
Yes,
nothing
finally
special.
got Quick.
Alright, next up.
Volcanoid. And a 10th saving here, 15th place. Yeah, there was one demo on Power of Heavy Metal YouTube channel, which was a 21 point something, and that was utilizing the pre-run.
There
I did
was
try.
there was a video by On where he uploaded his run of this map, like his grinding session for his world record, but I think that's since been removed.
The pre-run is pretty tricky on this map, though, I have to
It
say.
is.
It's pretty
It
tight.
is. Volcanoid using some W turning. Interesting. Wonder
Good speed at
where
the end, though.
he got that from. The advantage of W turning is truly that if you turn a little bit too fast, you don't lose speed like you do with AD turning. So when the level of optimization isn't quite as high like it is here, that actually is a desirable option.
Yeah, it can be a bit more forgiving, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean the only downside is you don't go the direction you want to go if you turn too hard. 25.592 in 14th place. We've got wounded.
Big savings. 0.6
Wounded.
savings.
True. Into 25 territory.
Okay, pretty good snapping.
Struggling a little bit through here, not kind of gaining speed the whole time, but going to hit over 1600 here, which is very nice. Decent ramp jump. Not going to quite break the 1900, but
not quite hitting the snaps, but you know the bulk of the run was pretty good.
yeah, those snaps are pretty tight in the last straight, so forgivable.
All right, next up, Ethiop from Russia.
13th place. Good job on the 25.3. Almost a 3/10 saving.
Pretty good snaps here. Actually has a lot more speed than the previous runs at this point, I think, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
yes. Nice. Good acceleration through that section. Over 1700 here. I get a nice ramp jump. Yes, and he breaks the 2000 barrier. Good job.
Yeah, tons of speed. Well done.
Yeah, it felt like a much stronger final, the second half, I think, than the first half.
Yeah. But we have another big saving coming up, actually.
Immortal. 13. With a 24.8. 4/10. Solid 4/10.
I was looking through WarCup archives, like the very first couple of results from WarCup archives, and it turns out Immortal 13 played in like the first 10 WarCups. And
Oh, really?
just randomly decides to show up like recently, which I thought was really cool.
Well, if he's watching, welcome back.
Excellent snaps. Also a very clean turn. You can see he wasn't going terribly wide, he was just following the curve of the map. I think his main time loss is the fact that he had an extra jump before the ending, which delayed the time at which he would get the ramp boost, but aside from that, it was pretty great snapping.
All right, we've got Zeal in 11th place, who I must apologize to because I literally framed the guy out of a top 10 time.
Don't feel bad for that. No.
Sorry, Zeal.
You say GG easy.
No, I'm not that guy.
Zeal, of course, also a prolific mapper. Pretty good snaps. Not maximizing them here, but I'm expecting that towards the end. Yeah, you can see he drops down instantly, which is his time safe over Immortal.
Interesting. Excuse me.
Just slightly different spacing. But yeah, the bulk of the run is the same.
All right, for context, I basically turned on snaps about 2 weeks ago. So I've been trying.
Yeah, Necropsy is Chris.
That's me.
So let's see if he lives up to the standards that I'm expecting.
Yes. I told Donald to just critique. Why does Style Project direct to a porn site? Because someone bought the domain and turned it into a porn site in the last 15 years at some point.
Okay. So the transition between snaps is not as fast as it needs to be, but you can clearly see that the understanding is there, and this is very good actually. That was great. Yeah, it's like you lost your shyness in that like second half of the run. That was great.
Yeah, do you know what? I spent a week like grinding this and like shaving a tenth off for like every 20 minutes, half an hour I was putting in. And then the day before submission, I thought, oh, I'll just put 10 minutes in before I go to bed. And within 5 minutes, I'd shaved a whole second off. So literally, my next best time is 0.9 seconds slower than this, and I don't know how the fuck I managed it, to be honest.
I feel that. It's just like like you leveled up in a way, like your skill increased.
Planets aligned, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is here. It's great. Here you hit every snap pretty much as well as you could. In the beginning, you were a little slow switching back and forth, but that's something I'm sure you noticed yourself, and you can optimize that as you get more muscle memory.
I'm not quite hitting the snaps here. I didn't manage to get 2K, and I don't know why. Like, I can't actually explain why I didn't speed up at the end.
Sure, we can do that.
Let's not spend more time on my run. Let's move on.
Okay, sure. I was gonna explain it, but
there's plenty of faster runs, so let's look at those.
All right. Well, next up, Syntax, who is 9th place, I believe.
Yes, 9th.
So about the same up until here.
It looks pretty similar.
Yeah, and you can see because he angles himself to go a little bit diagonally to the right at the end, that is the reason why he can easily hit that snap zone. At like 2000 UPS, you can't really go straight in terms of like your coordinate system.
Because your window becomes so narrow, right? So if you approach it at an angle, the window widens and gives you some more strafe.
Exactly.
Nice, good to know. I think it was a faster first half as well. Pretty much a faster first half then.
Yeah, just slightly better snapping. That's all.
Yeah.
In your run, the very beginning was a little bit lacking, and that compounds obviously through the rest of the run.
Okay, we've got Take 5 in 8th place with a 24.192, a nice 3 plus 10th savings.
Pretty clean snaps.
Yeah, good speed through here.
And then really great nice speed gain there, yeah. Really milking those 2 snap zones for everything.
Held on to that angle, didn't he, for just a little bit longer and got a little bit extra speed out of it.
Yeah. And then obviously angling himself at the end to get that snap zone as well.
Yep, breaking that 2K barrier with ease.
All right, next up, Likey from Germany.
7th place, 23.8. It's a 2/10 saving, or 3/10 saving, sorry. Pretty good at this stage, I'd say.
I think so too, yeah. No pre-jump yet, thankfully.
Nice.
Yeah, just pretty much hitting all the snaps that he needs to. It's good stuff.
Good speed.
Well done.
Yeah, very solid run. Anselmo, good to see Anselmo again in 6th place, had 4th in VQ3, so good standing all round. 23.792. It's a 10th saving.
The wall strafe at the start.
Oh, not missing
Yeah,
that
not
snap
quite
there.
finding the snaps, but that's because I think he had increased speed to start with. So the window at that point was so narrow that he couldn't quite find it.
Right, yeah.
Alright, next up,
Okay.
Just Gamer.
Very close time. Just 5/100ths of a second.
Good snapping.
Knows the lay of the land so well, you can tell, because he's just not paying attention to anything but the snaps.
Yeah. At some point, the game becomes the snap HUD and the rest is sort of just decoration around it.
Yeah, I feel that. I did kind of want to submit a run where it's just me completely looking down, just for laughs. If someone does that, I think we'll have to make that demo of the week or something. Nice, that was a good run. Frakio, always present in the top 5, pretty much, I'd say. Or top 10 at least.
A different start. Tries to get one extra jump in there. And that gives him a subtle spacing change. That opens up new opportunities for routing, and he has tons of speed here, actually, in comparison.
Yes.
That spacing change, even with this extra speed, allows him to still get a ramp bounce at the end. And that's, I think, where the bulk of that time save.
I mean, the time is very similar.
Yeah.
It's like 200ths apart. It did seem very similar even before the last drop. Had about 1800, which was consistent with what we saw with Just Gamer. But yeah, it was interesting to see the spacing slightly different.
Yeah, it could be that he had to take a wider line, which then canceled like that time loss with the time save at the end. But either way, it doesn't matter because there's a huge time save up ahead. 0.7 by Poos.
Yeah, top 3. Pre-run time, I think. Possibly. No.
Oh, just a clean run, I would assume.
Yeah, really good snaps at the beginning. Massive speed here.
Yeah.
Already at 1600. Break the 1800 barrier easily. 1900 even at the drop.
Yeah, that's really good.
And hits that ramp just at the very bottom. Really nice run.
Yeah,
23 in a frame. Yeah, I'm just loving the precision of this start as well. It's perfect.
Pretty much hits every snap that he can.
Yeah. The thing is, you look at this run and you think, like, if I run this, I'd be like, that's pretty. Can't do much better than that, you know. But still, there's like over a second to find.
Well, I mean, if it's a pre-run, we'll know what's happening. But
That's
if it
true.
isn't, I'll be very impressed. We'll see.
Yes. So yeah, there's a good 7/10 saving here, just over from Temfex, and we know Temfex knows how to snap with the best of them from
Absolutely.
his VQ3 run. So what's the secret sauce?
It's not a pre-jump. Wow.
It's just precision, execution. Look at the speed through here. God damn, 1600 before this corner even. Bonkers. 2K. 2K at the drop.
That
Still gets the ramp as well.
that's beautiful, yeah.
So nice. Yeah, I mean at this stage it's hard to fathom because you put Puzz's run and Temfex's run side by side, or you know, watch them one after another, and it's really hard to identify what one is doing over the other to save 7/10. You know.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, 7/10 of a second is something to the tune of like 90 frames. And if you break it down into a number of frames, you can save 1 frame on every switch from left to right while strafing, and all of a sudden those numbers start to make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
If
when you think about it like that, it's pretty
yeah, if
crazy.
it's just a matter of precision at every turn, a run that is slightly better everywhere will accumulate some time save throughout the entire run.
And I guess that's why we say there's almost limitless optimization possibilities in this game, right?
Yeah, like this map is pretty old, and you can still see people grinding it today and still lowering the record.
I did like how tight he took that previous corner and wall clipped it. That seemed pretty nice.
Yeah, I think that wall clip may have had to do with his spacing here, yeah. Because you can see he's so far forward.
Yeah.
The only way to make sure that he hits this ramp without limiting his strafing, which of course he doesn't want to do, is to use that wall clip from beforehand.
Hmm.
And that window is just too small. He can't hit that, so that's no loss to him. Well done. But
Okay. We got the
we're,
champ.
we're not done yet. Yeah.
Yeah, we got Rainfire in first place with a 22.096. So that's a 2/10 saving pretty much. And I think we got to see a pre-run here. It's got to happen.
Yes.
We do. And I've spent a good 30, 40 minutes trying to get that pre-run, and I couldn't get it. I could get it, but not anywhere near faster than my non-pre-run run.
You have to be really, really tight to get like to even make that work. Because
Even up to my
obviously,
sense.
yeah, like even with the pre-jump, obviously that changes the spacing.
Yeah,
You have to optimize in a different way to hit that spacing later on.
true. Let's check it one more time.
So yeah, he has to. This is not the way you would normally do this pre-jump because he's limited by the fact that he is not allowed to trigger the timer the first time around.
Yep.
So he has to do an even tighter pre-jump than the current world record in online database does.
If I'm correct though, once you pass the start trigger, it blocks you from going back, so you
Yes.
can't.
The crux lies in the fact that you can enter the trigger but not exit it on the other side.
Right.
That's what the world record on online play does.
Okay.
But that's something that Rainfire is of course not allowed to do in that case.
Yeah, massive speed. 1500.
Yeah, the precision may look simple when it's slowed down like this, but hitting every single one of those transitions as well as he is doing in a full, in a full run is totally different beast.
Yeah, great acceleration here.
Barely.
Closing that window.
Dude, that spacing is crazy. He's had 2 step-ups in the last, like, 3 jumps. Like, only barely making each one of them. He really needs
Yeah,
to
that's a good
strafe as
point.
hard as he can to even make it work at all.
Amazing. Well done, Rainfire. Well done to everyone, but yeah, really good. An exhausting map in some ways.
Yeah, exhausting the possibility for just optimizing it further and further.
That too, yeah. All right, you've got some more demos of the week for us, don't you? CPM flavor now.
Mhm. Again, with DFWC coming up, I wanted to spotlight some, up-and-coming players that I think might play a role in the rankings when that comes to pass. First up is Zond.
Whoa. Okay, that was nice.
So you have this plasma climb at the start on... I'm not sure if that's diagonal or not, but either way, you just rocket right out of it and try to keep as much speed as you can, while also getting that battle suit and also getting a plasma ground boost, which is a lot to do in as little a time frame as this
Yeah.
map gives you. And this little Patsabiashka right there.
What? Patsabiashka, what's that?
It's a Russian word for a rocket that you shoot beneath your feet. Like you shoot ahead of yourself and it lands
All right.
beneath you. A little joke from our producer.
Like all jokes, has an element of truth in it.
True. Yeah, I mean, I thought this run was really impressive from Zond, especially since, I haven't seen very much from him, so seeing this kind of development is very exciting. And then one rocket straight to the finish.
Always nice to cross the finish line with your back to it.
Some swag points.
Yeah.
And then next up, now obviously Kane is not really an up-and-coming player, but he might not be as much of a household name as, people like Woody or Dex are. So I still think it's interesting to spotlight him. These are both demos that were posted in the DeFRaG Discord demos channel, which you can check out. And Kane is an excellent snapper, so you can see him hitting all those snap zones exactly the way he needs to.
This looks like a fun map as well. Lots of speed to be gained on those ramps.
It looks deceptively easy though. Hitting those snaps is very, very difficult at that kind of speed. There's a lot of subtle, like going back and forth, left and right, that he does to even allow those windows to exist at all. Remember how I said that at the end of the previous map of the WarCup, you have to angle yourself to even be able to get a snap window? He has to do that all the way down that long, diagonal ramp that you see for the majority of this map. And obviously it goes unnoticed if you, to the trained eye, to the untrained eye. But hitting it in practice is very, very difficult.
Just getting that pillar and just getting that one as well. Excellent spacing.
So the secret sauce here is that every time he hits a window, he has a delay before he switches to the other side where he holds only W.
Right.
and that makes him go a little bit left or right. That is the part that actually offsets his angle.
Okay, yeah, because I saw a couple of people doing that on the WarCup map, and I was just wondering why. So it just throws you off course enough so that when you switch sides for your strafe, you've got an extra
A bit of a window, yeah.
bit of a window, yeah.
Straphologists hate me for telling you that trick.
Well, I think
Alright.
we're hoping to get some more straphologists on board, aren't we? Because I think it's probably worth mentioning that I think in about a month's time, you and I are going to be on the mic, and Woody is going to be on the mouse and keyboard for an ESA, European Speed Runner Assembly Marathon, right, on Twitch.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're going to be. Well, what are we going to be doing? I guess we're going to be talking about
Showing off the game, showing off the
the game.
skills.
Yeah, showing what's required in order to get into DeFRaG, teaching people who might never have seen DeFRaG before about the mechanics. Yeah, it
Giving the
should be.
game the exposure it desperately deserves, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think there's a feeling that DeFRaG should appeal to the speedrunning community more than it does right now. And
Yeah.
hopefully this will be a really good opportunity to, finally get DeFRaG under the noses of those speedrunners.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so that would be really good. That's on the 30th of July, about 2:20 British time. Sorry, 1:20 p.m. British time. But you'll hear about it a lot more from us before then. But it's really good. I really hope it brings some new players and a bit more attention to DeFRaG.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Shall we? I guess we'll bring up the WarCup map for next week, right? Or two. There's two maps. There's the WarCup 340, and then we've got the extra map as well. So the main map is the Dart Icarus map. Combo map.
One that I haven't seen before, I must say.
Yeah, and one that I've been trying to run personally and haven't quite figured out how to finish. So probably not the best person to talk you through it.
Okay, well, I can guess that there's some plasma involved from that
There's
purple strip
plasma.
and that wall, and then you go up. Then there's red, which I assume means rockets.
Not quite. So
The clips apply to you, Adam, so you have to actually fly through that yellow tunnel.
yeah. 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 So you get grenades on this platform, and you get rockets on the left platform here.
And then there's a red arrow pointing down into the yellow tunnel. Or maybe
It's
onto
onto
the
the ceiling.
platform.
Yeah.
Okay. So I
I tried.
assume you stack the grenade with the rocket and then go up, right?
I tried that. Yeah, I couldn't manage it, but yeah, maybe it's an execution thing. I felt like there's
You know
something
what?
stopping you from getting up there.
If the viewers want to find out, they'll just have to play the
They'll
map
have to run
themselves.
it. Yeah, exactly. They'll have to run it. And there's
Oh, actually, no, Adam found it. Never mind. There's a tunnel
yeah,
over here.
there is a tunnel there, but yeah, you have to get up here first, and then I think you can drop down and stack and plasma your way up. I don't even know where the finish is on this thing, to be honest. I reckon it might be there.
Might be
but I'm not-
there, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. Well, that's map number 1, folks. Map number 2 is Horus Challenge Rockets, which I believe is the extra.
Yeah.
Which I did take a look at this, and it is a selection of rooms with individual tricks. That purple will not be there. That's supposed to be a mirror when you play it.
Yeah. I can confirm.
But yeah, aside from that, this is just a bunch of rocket tricks put together into one map. There are clips in between these rooms, so you can't just fly through, unfortunately. It's again another mirror, but confusing.
You'll just have to play it yourself and figure it out.
Exactly.
But yeah, we'll cover those next week. Give
Adam
up.
is very frustrated with the map. I understand.
Give up.
But yeah, you guys will have to just play it for yourselves or wait until the next WarCup stream.
Yes, exactly. Okay. That's WarCup for this week. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Pleasure having you as always, Donald, bringing knowledge and enlightenment to us all.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we'll be back. When will we be back next? Adam probably knows. Will we be back on Saturday with the last Tim Trials map? Yes, that's the plan. So we've got 2 maps, Pancake Pleasure and Three-Headed Monkey, if I believe correctly. And yeah, so we'll see you then. And we'll be back, of course, next Tuesday for the WarCup with these 2 maps. So thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you soon. Any parting words, Donald?
Happy grinding, I suppose.
Happy grinding.